Howdy there, partner. Welcome to our twice weekly VR podcast. You're watching and listening on Thursday, so you've joined the VR Download Gamescast. My name is Zena, and I'll be your host for today. And joining me is the man behind the phrase, "Don't squat with your spurs on," Jamie Feltham.
Am I?
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I was looking up some cowboy phrases.
I was going to say, how can I be known for a phrase I have literally never said in my entire life?
You like a good squat with some spurs on.
The football team? What are spurs?
Oh, you know, the little spiky things on your shoes, the little...
Oh, that could have really helped my writing about Red Dead Redemption 2 earlier if I'd known that. Or my writing about Population 1 Season 2, The Frontier. Who would have known about that?
Or Pistol Whip's new upcoming update.
No,
anyway,
no, not that one.
It's getting a bit weird, isn't it? Hello to everyone in chat who's watching along with us or listening along with us live. I'm going to say some names now. Paradise DK, The Absolute Boy, Sean Crizzle, VR Ingo, Flandy, Adam Hartzell, The Absolute Boy.
Hello, Flandy. Sorry, I that was a really great name. I enjoyed that very much.
Ryan Stambo, Tricks or Treats, Mooking, Gamer Rev, Smelton, Skiva. What's up, everyone? I would also like to give a special shout out to our members. I'm going to read out their names now. Their so-called names. Radical App Dev, Rick Tet, Robert Quinones, Steve Evans, Smash Reality, Adam Hartzell, B.R. Shah, John Westra, and Dominique Fruchtman. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. It means a lot to us.
Among men.
Yep,
among mere mortals.
So basically, I want to get to the point where there's not enough time to read out everyone's names. So if you want to become a member and help me reach that goal, do it. If you want to give yourself a shout out, we have got a super chat option. Give us money and, you know, your message will definitely be read out and it will come up and it'll be really special.
Also, I don't want to be rude, but my chat's not working today on my little tablet thing here. So I'm not ignoring you. I just literally can't hear you unless I look through what we call the Oculus Quest nasal slit at the chat down below on my phone. Also, Heaney, if you're watching, the tablet's broken. Just for me, though.
Okay,
get right on that, please. Thank you.
On that weird little note, let's get into some news. Let's get into the headlines of this week. So yeah, the reason why I was saying all the cowboy stuff, and probably the reason why lots of you are here today, is because Red Dead Redemption 2 just got a VR mod made by the same modder who brought us GTA 5 VR, Luke Ross. Absolute boy. You can see it up on screen now. We just released 27 minutes, the first 27 minutes of the game in VR. It's very much still in early access, but you can check that out on our YouTube channel now. Jamie, you recorded most of this gameplay. How'd you like it?
I think it's really cool. I think it's a very good start. This is obviously like such a huge deal in the modding world. Luke Ross obviously did the GTA 5 mod a couple of years ago that people are really, really fond of. When that came out, it wasn't in the best shape when it came out. Like, it was kind of rough around the edges, as you'd expect, you know, a kind of one-person mod of a game as big as GTA 5 to be. But it really came into its own after a couple of patches and became a lot better. And this is, I think, in a better state than that mod was when it first released, and hopefully it's going to get better too. It's really fun. I really, really like it. What I'm really hoping is that we see like maybe some motion controller support. Maybe that's a little ambitious. You kind of have to fiddle with a lot of the settings to get it feeling really comfortable. Like make sure you're turning off like head bobs and stuff like that. And sorry, what you would say?
It's a very finicky thing. Well, just mods anyway, right? Trying to get this going, like I had to run the batch file like a couple times. Again, it's in early access, and it, you know, the way that you kind of get it onto your system will change. But
Yeah.
yeah, hand controls would be amazing. Like at the beginning, I cut out a lot of the horse riding from the beginning because you're just on a horse. But
Just riding a horse.
just running a horse, but you're holding a lantern out. But it kind of feels like you've got a really massive pencil behind your ear and it's sticking out, and it's just here.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah, there's like some bits, like in a bit I'm gonna like interrogate a guy and like it grabs the camera and stuff like that and pulls you along. But like that's the whole thing with VR mods, right? Isn't it? Especially one person VR mods. They're not going to be able to achieve the
Is it
whole
just one
native
person?
thing. Yeah, Luke is just someone said in the chat more like Luke Boss, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and so yeah, it's the thing about VR mods is they're the next best thing from full native support. Sometimes they're actually even better than full native support, but in this case, it's one of those next best thing situations. You can play the entire game from start to finish like this now, which is really, really cool. It's interesting because I actually think something weird's going on in the chat, by the way. Like, if you can hear echo, tell us, because I'm talking and I can see your lips moving.
Oh, really?
That's very strange.
Let me do this.
But I don't know. While Zena's sorting that out, let me just keep talking.
Hello?
I wasn't like, oh, did you fix it? No.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I can hear myself. But how can I hear myself? This is so confusing. Anyway, don't worry. If it's workable with chat, then we'll go. Oh, they're saying there's an echo, but it's not loud. If it's workable, we haven't seen much complaints. If it's workable, we'll run with it.
Go for it. You carry on. I'm just going to fiddle over there.
Okay. I don't know what everyone else thinks about Red Dead 2, but I'll say this. I probably not even like a fifth of the way in before Red Dead 2 before I stopped. And, I agreed with what a lot of people were saying that were critical of the game at the time, that it was just far too slow paced. It was so interested in being kind of rooted in reality and having all these systems clashing together that were, technically very, very impressive, that it kind of just got in the way of having a fun game. I'm sure some of you agree with that. Like, the mission structure in the game is not all that engaging, like lots of very linear design and everything like that. But yeah, I wrote an article back in 2019 along the lines of, I also stopped playing this game because it just seems so well suited to VR. And I don't mean that just in terms of, cool, fun, 3D shootouts and everything, but like Red Dead 2's control scheme is awful. There's just too much stuff you can do in the game to fit on a controller, and you are fighting at the controller the entire way through the experience. And I really always thought that, VR could really help simplify some of that stuff. Just a grab button for picking items up. It doesn't have to be there's one bit in this video, we're actually coming to it in a second, where like there's two different buttons to pick up, first your gun, then your hat. And then you also have to grab a horse by the kind of handily things a horse has, and like lead him outside. And that's a different button as well. And, especially with a helmet, with a headset on, like 3 different buttons to just do this one interaction thing is very confusing. If you just had literally, reach out and grab the thing you want to interact with, that's going to help the gameplay so much more. And I remember having experiences back when I played it on PS4. Like, I think you've got the echo, by the way. You've nipped it in the bud.
I nipped that.
Well done. I didn't think that was going to get solved.
On my Spurs and it got out of here.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that's what that means. Yeah. And I remember pointing a gun at a civilian in the game when I was playing on PS4. And they were like, "Oh my God, you're pointing a gun at me," and they ran away. And I didn't get to do a mission because of it, because I scared them off. And that's just because I accidentally pressed a button. Whereas in VR, you could literally know, oh no, don't aim a gun at a person. And I can't, as exciting as this is, and I think it's really good. And if you've got the PC for it, definitely go give it a try, get it properly optimized as much as you can. We have a 260 Super, and we were playing on medium settings, and it was running pretty well, I would say. We got some crashes and some bugs, but actual performance while we were playing.
Oh yeah, but I'd put that down to the early access nature of it, right?
Yeah. it made me excited and re-energized my hopes that we'll get a proper, authentic native version of this at some point. Because I think I would love Red Dead 2 in VR, even though I don't really like it on a flat screen. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
for sure.
it's like the rules of the world have almost already been built for VR, I think.
Yeah, it's like you said, like fiddling around with all these different buttons just to do one thing. That in VR, look, here's my hand. I'm just gonna go grab something, or it makes way more sense. It needs an LA Noire job done to it, right?
Yeah, like you mean the case files thing they did a couple of years ago? Well, yeah, exactly. But I would kind of hope the next time they do something like that, if they do something like that, that we get the full experience, not just the kind of abridged thing.
That's the interesting thing, though, because when was it? Like it was last year. Rockstar was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do another VR game, like AAA."
Yeah.
What the heck is happening with that? Unless if I totally missed, like, what's going on?
I actually went back and looked, like, maybe last week, and I think they changed that message to take out. They said just now we're working on our next game. It doesn't say VR anymore, but I don't think that's.
Oh, guys!
I don't think that's. Yeah, I don't think it's because it's not VR. I think it's because probably Rockstar were like, "Can you take that out, please?" That's just
a year later.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't count on, like, they said they were just ramping up work on that, didn't they? I wouldn't count on seeing it for a while. This is Rockstar. We're about to have 3 versions of GTA 5, and we haven't had a new version of the game in like 10 years or something now. Yeah, it's going to take a while. But this, in the meantime, if you have the PC, obviously you have to own Red Dead. And because Luke's done so much incredible work, I think quite fairly is now saying, you get access to this on a Patreon, so it's not free. You have to.
A lot of work goes into this. A one-man job. Come on, like
the only thing I wonder about that, and I don't know too much about these sorts of things, is if you're then taking donations, is that going to cause legal trouble? Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know. It might not. But that's just not something I'm entirely.
I'm sure other modders take donations and stuff like that. I'm sure they're.
I think and it depends on the company. I think if you were doing this to like a Nintendo game, they would not be happy. But maybe Rockstar will be cool with it. Karen asks, "Is it compatible with the Oculus Touch?" No, this is just a gamepad for now. No motion controller support of any kind, so it's just same game you played. You aim with your head, which I like, because aiming in these games can always be a bit of a mess, but it works pretty well with the head.
Yeah, I found it quite fulfilling. Although I was messing around a little bit at the beginning. I hadn't played Red Dead before, and I'd probably recommend playing the game a little bit outside of VR first.
Yeah.
Before you try this mod, if you're like a full-on VR gamer, because like you get up to the first shootout and they're like, "Yeah, just go hide in the shed over there," and I was like, "There are 3 sheds, and this house kind of looks like a shed. I don't really know what he's talking about." And then I was also crouching, so my head was in the snow, and I was just getting flustered. So
originally you were going to record the gameplay, right? And as you were putting on the headset, I was like walking away thinking, "Wait, Red Dead's like really, really not an intuitive game, and it's very, very hard to understand, and I'm going to add VR." And I was like, "I'm sure it'll be fine." And then I went out for a little bit, and I came back through the door, and you're like, "It's crashed."
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Like literally, as soon as you walked through the door, it crashed, and I was like, "Oh." The thing is, when it crashes, it's more, it freezes on a scene, like in a cutscene, and all I've got to say is, at that moment, go into the menu, save, and then load it up again. Otherwise, it's just lost forever. I don't think cloud saves really work with it.
No, not well. No, I don't know. I don't know how Rockstar's kind of Rockstar Club overlay affects what normally goes on with Steam. Uchidan says, "Call me a VR snob, but I don't consider it a VR game unless it uses motion controls." Uchidan, that's kind of fair enough, but at the same time, this is just, again, it's just a one-man port. So
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, really, it's not even a VR game because it is a mod, and it's like there's one bit where I got grabbed by a wolf and he twisted me around on the spot, and I wanted to
He grabbed
rip the
you.
headset up and throw up everywhere. But I ended up not doing that, fortunately. Yeah, no, it's just an intricacy. I don't think many people will end up playing all the way through it. We're going to keep trying to play it on some streams going forward into next week. We're going to try and see if we can make some progress with it. I think dream scenario for me, having played some of this, is Sony in somehow works out Red Dead 2 VR on PSVR 2, like maybe with the foveated rendering. They could possibly make that happen, seeing as they got the entire game to first run on a PS4.
It would be incredible.
Such a cool. There's so many now that they have the power of the PS. Now that they have the power of the PS5,
The power.
the most powerful games console ever built.
Oh my god, are you doing Trump?
No, I'm just doing your average
You sounded a bit
Sony
Trumpy.
executive. No,
I
I
really
didn't.
like how
Anyway,
it's going.
yeah, I want to see more of this stuff. I want to see more of the Resident Evil 7 caliber stuff happening, and I think this would be such a good shout.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Then again, doesn't really sound like they're going for that. Rockstar at least, but
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have another story about that tomorrow. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two Interactive that owns Rockstar, really not a fan of VR.
really,
No, he keeps talking dirt about it, but he's also on the cover of a lot of men's health magazines. So I'm going to challenge him to a fight, and when I win, I will be the champion of the VR industry. I don't know why. Anyway.
Okay, well, good luck with that. I don't think it's really gonna.
If you're listening, Strauss, you and me, 1-on-1, in a VR game, in a boxing VR game to the death. Imagine, yeah, okay, that'd be cool.
To the death. So what? You're both in VR headsets and you're very close to each other.
No. We're just we're playing Creed or something from across the world, but we keep fighting in Creed until one of us dies. That is the plan. I don't know how. Yeah, in real life, I don't know how we'll die. I assume after 5 days of incredibly intense playing Creed with not eating anything, you might die. We'll find out, won't we, Strauss?
Well, anyway,
we'll find out, Strauss. Who's more mad, me or you?
We'll apparently find out that, but we're going to come back to Red Dead, Red Dead's VR mod later in this stream, right after our review of Puzzle Bobble. But we're still on the news for now. So our next story is actually a combination of two headlines. And we're kind of combining them because they're both incredible bits of news for how VR graphics and performance are being upgraded lately. So in the upcoming version 29 update, your Oculus Quest 2 will be able to handle 120 hertz via Airlink. This is a feature that was only introduced last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last month. So that means that you can play PC VR games on your Quest without using wires, and it'll look and feel amazing. That's the first story. The second story is that NVIDIA's DLSS support is coming to VR, starting with No Man's Sky. I don't know if it's the first announced title for it, right?
Oh,
here we go.
It's actually the first game was Into the Radius, which actually got support a couple of weeks ago. I need to remember to update an article to say that it already had it, but they kind of revealed a whole batch of titles that are getting it this week, which includes No Man's Sky. I'm showing it on PS5 here just for something, but and it includes No Man's Sky and a car mechanic sim called Wrench.
Cool. So what the whole DLSS support thing means is that with the help of magic and AI, you'll see improved frame rate and fidelity on PC VR headsets. So the bottom line is both standalone and PC VR gaming is becoming smoother and just generally faster without you needing to buy a new headset or PC or new software or anything. It's just gonna happen, which is amazing. Jamie, how monumental are these features for VR gamers?
Before I answer that question, just to answer in the chat, SI Rich,
Oh yeah.
if you go to our Red Dead article on UploadVR, there's a link to the Patreon where you can get that that mod, but you need to be subscribed to the Patreon to get it. This stuff, is very, very cool. Yeah, I'm kind of really interested in the DLSS. Yeah, that's it. Support, because I think that could be a real game changer for a lot of VR content. The whole thing about obviously PC VR is that PCs are really, really, really expensive, and then you get a really, really expensive VR headset on top of that, and it just it doesn't have much mass market appeal because you're buying two kind of obscure pieces of technology for high prices. But with the whole idea about DLSS, I'm just going to say the NVIDIA thing. The whole NVIDIA thing is that you can get better performance for your games on lower end hardware. So it's something that's been used in other more traditional games for ages now. Death Stranding uses it. I think Fortnite uses it. And it's really cool to see it coming to VR because, No Man's Sky in particular had a lot of problems on PC when it launched. And I think, I when I wrote this article, I said, yeah, it had a lot of problems at launch. And people were like, yeah, it still has a lot of problems. And we haven't really checked in with it recently. But people are saying, like, even on like a NVIDIA 390, because it's actually more of a CPU intensive game than it is a GPU intensive game. Even on like the latest graphics cards, it's still not running great for them, which is crazy. But I think they said something like with a 390, I think it was, you could get this running in VR on ultra high settings at like a consistent 90 frames a second, which would be really, really, really cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is really, really cool. And then if you combine to that the whole 120 hertz Airlink thing, obviously you need a great internal connection, wireless connection, or between your Quest and PC for 120 hertz to work really, really well. But just imagine getting all this stuff and getting it to be super, super high end, and you can get the compression down and everything like that, and you could be playing this stuff 120 hertz on a PC wirelessly. The fact that I think we're 5 years on from when the original Oculus Rift launched, when the original HTC Vive launched, and all of that's now possible. It's so like mind-blowing. It happens so much faster than I thought it would happen, I think.
Yeah, so interesting comment here from Meowmix. How you doing? Welcome back. DLSS VR on Into the Radius makes, and he said Into the Breach, makes the game blurry. So for now, it seems to be a trade-off. Better performance for reduced clarity. For now, they leave it disabled.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. I thought it was just, it bumps it up. It's like it's an upgrade. There isn't going to be anything traded there. But if that is the case, I think there's a graphics comparison to be done.
Yeah, maybe we could take a look at that. I would like to dive into it. We haven't had the chance to do it yet because this week's been just your average week at UploadVR, which means too crazy and too busy. But yeah, I do really want to dig into it because it could mean big things. It'd be cool to see this tech come to other platforms as well. Like, this is all AI rendering is the thing. So the whole idea is that it's not really anything internal, like hardware wise, that's helping it happen. It's all kind of software solutions, kind of like how I guess with our Google Pixel phones, like we take those really high end pictures, then AI kind of fills in a lot of the gaps. It's that kind of thing, right? And it'd be really cool to see. I think a lot more about
TVs nowadays. You could have like a 1080p game or whatever, and then it can upscale to 4K.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like LG TVs are really good at that. Getting a lot of brand mentions in this segment.
Shout out to my boy LG. Life's
LG,
good.
Google, if you're listening, sponsorship space right here. Set your brand on fire. But seeing that kind of tech come to standalone would be really, really cool as well. And also, if it could help, improve PS5 VR performance in the future, that would be great.
Yeah. So just an FYI for people joining in now, we've already kind of talked about Red Dead Redemption 2's VR mod. But at the end of the stream, so in about, I don't know, like half hour or something, we're going to be going into the what we think are the best VR mods for non-VR games. So we're going to be coming back to that later in the stream. But I think that wraps up this story, unless you want to...
No, not really. Just
Cool.
play No Man's Sky. No,
nothing. I'm feeling no. Okay, cool. So our final story for this week is the delay of the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners free upcoming Aftershocks update. It was first revealed last month for all platforms. It was going to come out on all platforms at the same time, and it was actually meant to be coming out today. So it could have been a review segment sort of thing, but not today. The update will be bringing, it's still coming, it will be bringing post-campaign content that will offer players hours of new content to explore in the form of new missions, collectibles to find, and new survival tools to use. There's no revised date yet, but the delay was put down to the fact that putting out such a massive update to all platforms for free is a pretty big task. Jamie, you've previously said you've been super pumped. Sorry, your avatar keeps doing these fake smiles and it freaks me out a little bit. You've been
Who says they're fake?
saying, you just kind of show me your teeth every so often.
Yeah.
You've been saying you're super pumped for like an expansion on story for Saints and Sinners. Is this a bummer for you?
Yeah, no, I'm actually a little bummed about this because it's been almost a year since the last big update for Saints and Sinners. Obviously, they had to get it out on Quest and everything like that, which obviously would have taken up loads of time. And this sounds like it's going to be more kind of maybe not story-driven content, but more kind of single-player, like fleshing out the campaign a bit more, if that's what you want. And that is what I want. I think Walking Dead is probably still my favorite VR game since, like, the best VR game since it released, and that might even include Alex. We can have that conversation again at some point if we want. But for now, yeah, I there was this brilliant little section a couple of years ago where we got Boneworks, we got Walking Dead, we got Alex, all in pretty close succession. And I don't think we've seen lots, especially on PC VR. I don't think we've seen lots that are quite as good and fun as those games recently. So I've been really clamoring for more Saints and Sinners. It's still kind of shrouded in mystery as well. We don't know a heck of a lot about what it's going to bring. Yeah, I am bummed. They didn't give us another date, like you said, so I'm kind of hoping June, maybe July, because I have got some zombies to kill.
Yeah, it's just kind of up in the air right now, isn't it? I mean, it's not much of a story out there for it, but it's, loads of people are super into Saints and Sinners. It's something that we're definitely going to be keeping our eye out for, and yeah, fingers crossed they get it out kind of soonish, but then again, take your time. Again, it's a free update. Come on, something that sounds pretty amazing. The trailer was awesome. I know No Man's Sky is still going on here. I can't quite find the the video.
Sorry.
But we're going to move on from Saints and Sinners. That was the news for this week. We are now going to move on to the review section. So I'm going to pass it on to Jamie to unreservedly tell us about what he thought about this week's new release, Puzzle Bobble VR.
A really exciting release. Just give me 1 second while I bring up the stuff. All right, so I'll start talking, and maybe it'll come. Oh no, look, there's the trailer.
Wonderful. Okay,
very quickly on this one. I don't think we need to spend too much time on Puzzle Bobble VR. Have you ever played Puzzle Bobble? It's a color matching game. So you have little bubbles. You could call them bubbles. I'll probably call them both and interchange them and not even realize. You fire them at like clusters of other bubbles or bubbles. You try and match the colors. Once you match 3 together or more, they blow up. You try and get rid of all the bubbles or the bubbles. You get rid of them all. You move on to the next level. That used to be played out on a 2D plane, kind of like Tetris. And then Servios, who's made Creed and the bad Walking Dead game from last year, but they've made good games. They have made this one, and they've got some cool, fun ideas. It works pretty well as a core single-player campaign. There's over 100 levels, which is really, really good. Lots of content for a single-player game. You kind of put the bubbles in the cannon, stretch back like a slingshot, fire, destroy the clusters, and that, once they're gone, you move on to the next level. Here's the thing. Have I broken or am I still alive?
I think you're still alive.
Oh, this is weird.
I think we're all kind of... We froze for a bit there.
How are we looking on the stream?
You're just kind of frozen.
Yeah, we're both frozen. Give me a sec. I'm going to leave the room and come back in, see what happens.
All right, cool. Just for a little break there, FYI, both Jamie and I played the multiplayer version of Puzzle Bobble, and it was okay. I got pretty frustrated with the aiming. The aiming was the main thing. I kind of feel like there was this very specific point that you had to point at the other bobbles. And I kept, when you, pull back to then release the bobble, it kept moving. So it just kept messing up my scores there. It was pretty cool to jump in with Jamie to play it. You can kind of see each other on two different platforms, waving at each other. The monsters do look really cute. That's the thing. There he is, right there in the middle. Not to take over Jamie's review, but I feel like this was mainly done for the cuteness of the monsters. This was mainly done. Hello.
How's it going? That was weird, wasn't it? I'm back. What was I saying about Puzzle Bobble? So let's just cut long story short. It's fine. It's Puzzle Bobble in VR. Fine. I don't necessarily think that really needed to exist. I don't think it's necessarily a very good use of VR. I know that sounds very, that sounds very snobby. That sounds very Jamie.
Very artsy.
Very artsy. I completely understand that. What I would say is that what I mean by that more this time is that Puzzle Bobble is kind of a casual game, right? It's a game about when you're on a train just stealing 5 minutes during a commute or during a lunch hour at work, you kill time. It's about killing time as a game. Once you kind of, put the focus of VR on top of that, it just, I don't put VR on to kill time. It's a much more dedicated medium. I'm not here to waste away the hours or anything like that. I'm here to get immersed and have immersive experiences. And you just kind of don't really get that here.
I feel like we are both somewhat missing the point of it because everyone keeps talking about how cute they are. Adam Hartzell says, Bob and Bob, name a more iconic duo. You can't.
Are they called Bob and Bob?
You probably could, but you can't. Cat Yam loves the monsters and says, do the monsters interact with you? Yeah, they throw bubbles at your hand, so then you can then reload and start shooting again.
The little swines.
The little swines. When you play multiplayer, you are two little dinosaur things, and you can kind of wave at each other at your different platforms. Yeah, it's cute. The surroundings are really cute. There's a crab in T-pose. I liked that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's literally just, it wasn't even kind of up like a proper crab. It was just T-pose.
When we played, did your arms get tired? My arms get tired.
Oh, my back hurt.
You were sitting down, right? Or were you standing up?
Yeah.
Wait,
I had to get in a certain position. I still kind of feel it in my back now. I had to get in a certain position to not move. I had to kind of keep it really, really still because, like I was saying earlier, the aiming is just really, really finicky that you have to keep everything entirely still and just move with your wrist, with your firing hand. That's what I had to do anyway.
So
you can't pet the monsters.
It's on. No, you can't pet the monsters. It's on Quest today. If I said at the start of my review, the whole thing was Tetris Effect taught me the benefit of the doubt because you could say, oh, it's just Tetris in VR and it's rubbish. But no, Tetris in VR was, this really cool, beautiful, transcendent experience. Puzzle Bobble VR is Puzzle Bobble in VR.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to be
Blam
said about it.
Stop that. I don't like that.
I can't see. Is someone bullying me?
No, instead of bug snacks, they said butt snacks.
No, I'm quite fond of that. Hey, should we talk about? Let's talk about Red Dead 2 some more and the best VR mods, shall we?
For sure. So
let's get that
Puzzle
gameplay
Bobble
back up.
What did you? 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5. Yeah.
3 out of 5. Buy it if you like the monsters, not for the actual gameplay. Back to Red Dead Redemption 2 VR mod. We are now going to be breaking down what we believe are the best VR mods for non-VR games, starting with PC VR. We've got 7 titles. Was going to start with another one, but let's jump back in with this.
I just thought let's talk about this again for a bit because people are interested in it, and we talked more about it at the start of the show, but also we'll spend a little time going over it again here. I don't think this so far belongs on the best VR mod list. I think at some point it probably will, and we have only played the first 27 minutes of it, but I don't know. I need to go back in and tweak with some of the settings more to see what I really feel like. I was talking with Luke afterwards, and he said, yeah, it's a good idea to turn off the head wobbling because those like Rockstar characters do this thing where they don't walk. They walk as if like their shoes are made of butter, and they just kind of sliding around all over the place, doing the waltz as they go, and that always just feels really, really weird to me in VR. This. Like it's so floaty and weird. Which you can adjust the camera mechanics, the settings in the options menu, so you can change all of that stuff. It's just funny how like it's VR. You're meant to feel in control of yourself and everything like that. But then when you play a Rockstar character, and they've always been this way, but especially since GTA 4, all the characters have been this kind of ice skating. Like they have this real swagger as they walk. It just doesn't feel really VR-ish.
When I was riding on the horse as well, it was like, oh my god, why aren't you turning literally as I say turn? Like when you're in first person, you can't quite always see the horse, so you can't see like the animation of it slowly moving towards the direction you want it to go in. Guess it's lifelike. But just move, like when I say move, please. That was my main thing, because then I started turning around, and then the UI, like the map and the subtitles here, it then swung round to the back of my head, but then my horse was here, and then it had to reset my vision completely. Again, it's early access, but it's a VR mod for one of like the best regarded games of this generation, well, last generation.
It's interesting. Having said all that, we didn't really touch on this at the start of the show because when we were showing this footage, we also played the second mission, which is set high up in the mountains, and people that play the game will remember, like, that's when you save John Marsden. Well, spoilers if you haven't played the game, but he's in it loads.
It's 27 minutes in.
And there were some moments in that bit where I was just like, oh man, this is some of the really, like, this is hitting some of the stuff I really, really love about VR. So it's like you're walking across this kind of treacherous mountainscape, and you're like kind of going down these steep angles in snow, and I'm getting kind of a bit of that real life, like, oh, shouldn't be doing this, I'm going to fall over sort of sensation. There's like, at one point you come across a dead horse, and my horse kind of, your ally fires a shot off to tell people that you're around, and my horse reacted to it. And in VR, on flat screen, that's kind of just a very normal thing, but in VR, like, I watched the horse turn around and like look in surprise and like
saw the
like
whites
rail
of his
off a
eyes,
bit.
like, oh god.
but genuinely it is like that. You're like, whoa, he was not happy about that. And that's it's funny because this is just a mod, but you are kind of really getting to the core of some of the really cool, powerful, different, strong things about VR, even just with that. normal conversion. You're getting the like really human feeling out of something that you wouldn't normally get when you play it on a flat screen.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
really, really cool. And to me, that, like we were saying, like it made me long for a native version of it, but it also just makes me long for more big budget stuff, because when you get that kind of brilliant environmental design of these giant mountains with these, you know, tiny walkways that you'll feel very, very cramped on, like we don't see a lot of that stuff in a lot of action stuff, because, you know, like Zero Caliber is just all flat battlefields designed for, you know, 4-player co-op shooting. And
Yeah.
yeah, well, what else has been out this year? Like Demio obviously doesn't have anything like that because it's just kind of designed to be played in this one room and stuff like that. And it made me miss feeling like I was in big epic environments in VR, which I haven't done in ages. I hope we get some of that out of Resident Evil 4 as well, because obviously that's
It's
got
kind
some
of
great sides to it.
2019-ish, isn't it? Like, oh, big open worlds. Like, leave that in the past. They're just going to concentrate on like more smaller, like condensed titles, at least for now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and you just don't get a lot of verticality in them because, you know, for the very reasonable comfort concerns. But it was really cool. And yeah, I was saying at the start of the podcast, we're going to keep going with this. I think we're going to try and do some streams next week, see how far we can get through it. I only ever got about a fifth of the way through Red Dead. I think you've only ever watched me play Red Dead 2, right? Like maybe not even that much.
But hardly. That was ages ago. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
and
it's not necessarily one of my games.
No,
it's not something
and
that
it
I'd sit down
didn't.
for.
Yeah, exactly, and it didn't really grab me because it is just this big slog of immersion where like it doesn't cut you any breaks. Like, I mean, it's kind of what you were saying already. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I understand this is realistic, but just do what I want you to do,
Come
please.
on. Yeah.
And I want to see how that changes in VR. So that's Red Dead 2. Should we get into the actual list of the best VR mods you can play on PC and Quest right now?
Yeah, so the first one on the list, we actually streamed yesterday, and we were blown away by it, to be honest, both by the game and the mod. So that's Subnautica Below Zero.
Yeah. Can you get it up? I was trying to get it up.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Subnautica is... Yeah, the work the team has done there on Below Zero is really, really fantastic. In fairness, they have kind of a precedent to work with because the original Subnautica had VR support and this sequel doesn't. It's kind of like a standalone sequel sort of thing. So they've taken a lot of the learnings from that and they've brought them straight in. And it was there as the game launched out of early access and in full on day one, which is really, really impressive. And yeah, it's a really, really cool survival game that really feels at home in VR, because just underwater, and even actually in this one, above water, the environments are so stunningly gorgeous and really, really incredible to look at. And the kind of survival loop, even though you're playing with a gamepad, just works really, really well for VR. This is not a fish in the game, just in case you were wondering. This is a man being beaten up in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, yeah, like you said, we were both blown away by it. We probably got, you know, a good way into the campaign yesterday. It's not, if you can get kind of lost underwater in these sorts of games, and in VR, I find that to be a very stressful experience. But I didn't really have that with this one. They give you the tools. They get you working with it straight away. The creature design is really, really cool. There were these horrid little sea monkeys that stole my knife from me.
Oh, they were very grabby. They were said to be grabby.
They were said to be grabby.
Stabbing at the pengies. What are they called?
Oh, penguins, I think.
No, I don't think it was penguins. It was the pengies.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They're very cute.
Yeah, that's the kind of biggest update to our list, that one, because we've had the chance to try it out. But I was a really, really big fan of it. And I hope to see it get patched and improved. It would be really cool to see motion controller support for that one in the future, but we'll see. I'm going to move on to the next one, and I found the video for it.
Oh,
So would you
nice
like to
one. So
introduce
our
it?
next one, Alien Isolation?
Alien Isolation.
Alien Isolation by Mother VR.
Well, no, that's the name of it.
Oh, it's Mother VR.
I said I got it. I pressed cast. Stevie's misbehaving today. I'm not happy with you, Stevie. Maybe if I give it like a dum, 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 dum. No.
I haven't actually
Hit it on
played
the side.
Alien Isolation. I actually know nothing about it whatsoever.
So Alien Isolation, it's a funny one because this actually does have some history with VR too. So it's the whole kind of deal with Alien Isolation is that it is this kind of single player campaign survival game, but not like Subnautica where you're going out and getting resources and coming back and building a base, but you are just surviving the various linear levels against an alien, and it's trying to really capture the spirit and horror of the first movie in the series. And it has VR history because before the Oculus Rifts came out, like any consumer VR headset, developer Creative Assembly actually designed one level with a demo for the second developer kit for the Oculus Rift, which again you played with the gamepad. So that was, it has a little history there already, and really people had to just come in and work, finish what Creative Assembly started, which was really, really cool. And I played this a little bit. I don't find Alien Isolation that scary on a flat screen, but in VR, when you look down, if you get killed, the alien can stab you with that tail that they have from behind, and you look down, and in your body is this kind of alien tail just wiggling around. Oof. And it's just the freakiest feeling. It's so cool. And that's really, really fun. So that's definitely one of the more accomplished mods out there. I think the work that people have done on that is really, really incredible. And it's a game that's always going for free somewhere on something. Yeah. Or at least the price is really, really cut down. So if you don't have Alien Isolation and you need like a cool single player VR experience, you should definitely check that out because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. So next on the list is from our boy Luke Ross, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, there've been a couple of attempts to put GTA 5 in VR via mods over the past couple of years. None of them have been like hugely successful until we kind of got to this one, which I think really was quite popular. Like I said earlier in the show, it didn't launch in the best shape, but since then it's kind of been bashed into shape, I guess you'd say, into something really, really cool. And it's similar to what I was just saying about Red Dead 2, in that you find kind of unexpected new things in the mod when you're exploring that world in VR. Like suddenly it feels much stranger to be up close next to civilians, and you feel the impact of a car crash. Like you kind of feel yourself bracing for it when you're about to like jump off a cliff or something like that.
The weight of your decisions.
Yeah, that's
come down on you.
Yeah, it's like it suddenly turns into a David Cage game, essentially. But yeah, so that's come a long way since it first launched. I think it's really, really cool. It's not perfect. But it's a one-man port of GTA 5, which is an incredibly impressive thing, and you can play it all the way through from start to finish. So I would say if you try Red Dead today and you like it, or if you're not sure about this is a good idea actually. If you're not sure about paying for the Red Dead mod that's out today, go and check out Luke Ross's work on GTA 5 and decide for yourself, because the proof is kind of in the pudding with that one.
Yeah, for sure. So next on the list is Outer Wilds. So this is a game that many people were mentioning in the stream yesterday, actually, about a game that they would revisit over and over. Our friend Eric in the chat, I don't think he's here today, but yesterday he said it's a game that, you start at 1 a.m. and then at 5 a.m. you stop. Like, you just want to keep going and going with it. You started it recently.
I've started and stopped Outer Wilds countless times now, actually. Not to go against what Eric was saying, it's just that I need to sit down and properly commit myself to it, and I still haven't. But I have played an hour or so in the VR mod, and actually this is one of the ones I think the work here does come pretty close to feeling quite native. Again, it's one of those ones where they thought about ideas that you didn't think they would be able to get around. I'm pretty sure there's motion controller support in this one, which is really, really cool. And that works with aiming, that works with flying the ship and everything like that, which is really, really cool. And this is a game that, whether or not the developers know it, deserves to be in VR or feels like it belongs in VR. It's kind of like No Man's Sky at the end of the day. It's about exploring a universe, although, this one's very much set and not procedurally generated, but you kind of explore it on a time loop kind of scale. And it's just a game full of really, really, really wonderful sights and atmospheres that vary between the planets you travel to at the end of the day. Like sometimes you go to a planet where like the winds are raging and there's like hurricanes and it's like really chaotic around there, and it's almost quite stressful to be there in VR. Then of course you go off to find the iconic banjo dude, and find him sitting around a campfire, and you just get this really warm, welcoming feeling out of it. It's a really, really incredible one. I think this might actually be my favorite mod on the list of all of them. If you have
really?
Yeah, I remember being really, really impressed with it. We played it probably about 6 months ago now or something like that. And I just thought I could play this all day. And I don't often think that about VR mods.
Something that you can't play all day is Doom 3's PSVR port. But we're not talking about the port.
No, we're not. We're not talking about the port.
We're talking about the mod.
Yeah, we've got... Yeah, let's talk about the mod. So this is called Doom 3 Fully Possessed. There's also one on Quest 2 that we can try out that's good as well. But here's the interesting thing. The Fully Possessed and the Quest 2 port, I think, are actually both better than the PSVR port. Because they have more options at the end of the day. There's not a lot of options in the PSVR version. There are some cool features, like integrated UI and stuff like that. But even then, like in the PSVR version of the game, if you want to read a PDA and read some lore, it gets presented to you as like a virtual cinema screen. Whereas in some of the versions they've done on PC and Quest, it actually gets brought up as like a digitally projected PDA you hold in your hand and read while you're still in the game world, which is really, really cool. And quite funny that they didn't manage to get it. This is the PSVR version of the game, but it's Doom 3. Again, like it comes down to a personal thing of if you think Doom 3 is really a great VR game in general. I'm not convinced it is, but I know lots of people that are convinced it is. And if you want to play Doom 3 in VR, I would actually say seek it on PC or Quest rather than the PSVR version, because that's where you'll find kind of the options you want, some of the kind of nicer features that I definitely think are worth experiencing instead of the official PSVR port, is what I'd say.
So the next one on our list is Minecraft. So Vivecraft. Minecraft Vivecraft.
Well, this is a weird one because Minecraft has official VR integration. Microsoft and Mojang went back and put it in, and it's obviously on PSVR and it's on PC VR, and everyone really, really hopes it comes to Quest 2. But for all, as great as that version is, and there is a lot of great stuff to appreciate there, they didn't do too much work with the controls. It's basically just using the motion controllers as a pointer, and then still pulling a trigger to kind of mine and everything like that. Whereas in Vivecraft, that's the version of the game in VR where they've gone and made all of it incredibly realistic. So that's where you go and actually mine and build and things like that. And I'm not a huge Minecraft fan, and I can appreciate why Microsoft and Mojang didn't decide to go that far, because walking around mining an entire forest all day just doing this would be tiring. But if you want the full proper, authentic VR version, I definitely think Vivecraft is the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
maybe
again, I think it's something
Stevie.
kind of similar to. We were talking about it last week. What's it called? Roblox is potentially coming to Quest 2. It was, said to be really good, potentially for it, but you guys didn't care about it. You guys think it's for younger people.
Yeah,
it's not really our audience's deal.
Not so happy with that. Yeah.
So the last one for the PC VR list is Risk of Rain 2.
Yeah, and this is actually something I just wanted to mention more than actually put on the list yet, because we haven't actually tried it yet. But when we played Subnautica earlier this week, the creators of the mod got in contact to say, actually, there's a really, really good one for Risk of Rain 2 as well, which feels very, very native. So I trust what they say. I do want to try it out for myself. But yeah, I thought I'd put that here. That's kind of a fun roguelike game, fun experience with multiplayer. It's got full motion control support again, apparently. So this might be this might make it officially onto the list, but I have to try it myself before we do anything with it.
Yeah. So moving on from there, we have got 3 Quest mods that we think are some of the best non-VR VR mods. Half-Life is the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can kind of group all these in together, I guess, because they're all
we could actually. Yeah, you're right.
They're all done by the same team at the end of the day. So there's
the
Half-Life
boys. I like to say.
Yeah, Team Beefy boys.
The Beefy boys.
Half-Life is what they started out with, or Dr. Beef did it, and that is a really, really good, fully implemented Quest port. It has motion controlled aiming. You can even do crowbar with the melee, which is really, really cool. And it's also really, really extensive. It's got support for the kind of lesser known expansions in there, Blue Shift, and the one where you play as the army dude. I can't remember the name right now. It's fun to play Half-Life in VR, like that classic Half-Life in VR.
There's novelty to it.
Yeah, there's a real novelty to it. And there's bits that I've just, ever since I started writing about VR, I was like, oh man, I don't want to experience that. And for me, that is turning on a flashlight in the vents and a head crab suddenly jumping at you. The entire way through Alex, I was terrified they were going to do that. And they kind of tease it every once in a while, but they're always pretty good at making sure you don't have outright in your face jump scares.
You don't get trauma.
Yeah, you don't get trauma. Whereas obviously a PC shooter from 1998 doesn't need to worry about that so much, because VR wasn't going to exist for nearly another 20 years. So that's really, really cool. I haven't gone all the way through Half-Life in VR like that, but I would definitely like to sit and go back and try that at some point.
Yeah, I think we streamed it quite a lot back when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's worth streaming.
The Beefy Boys do an incredible job with their ports, with all those older games.
You should tell them to rename themselves to Beefy Boys.
Yeah, Beefy Boys.
Beefy Boys?
Beef Boys. I don't know. But yeah, that wraps up our best VR mods for non-VR games. And that about wraps up the VR download Gamescast.
You've forgotten Quake and Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Oh my god, two
more.
Oh
my gosh.
Well, there's not. To be fair, there's not much.
There's not much to say.
Not much to say. Quake is a very, very good port, comparable to the Doom work, but yeah, they've done incredible work across that engine, essentially. And if you like those fast-paced shooters, yeah, you can play any of the Doom games, any of the Quake games, basically, on Quest. Not the later Doom games. Obviously, that would be insane. And then also Return to Castle Wolfenstein, again built on the Quake engine. Very, very cool version of that. Adds a lot to be able to lean around corners and take pot shots at Nazis because that's what we all should be doing.
That's what we all should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they did great work. Well done. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up to the Beefy Boys. Oh, my thumb is very close there. It was anyway.
I've got a very crooked thumb, haven't I?
Yeah.
Crooked thumb.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to go back to what I was saying. That wraps up the VR download for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to join us on Mondays if you like tech and industry kind of news and discussion around that. It's usually Ian and Kyle. They're very good with that sort of stuff. Join us again on Thursday for just kind of a more relaxed chit chat about VR games and what's going on, really. And yeah, you can check out all of the stories that we've mentioned over at UploadVR.com, including the Red Dead Redemption 2 VR mod. Other than that, we'll have to see you next time. I don't think we've got a stream tomorrow. Just Monday's the next one.
A merry little Christmas. Yeah, no, it's we're done for the week. I mean, we streamed a lot. There's been a lot.
We have streamed a lot, to be fair.
Give us a weekend,
we've got more gameplay
please.
and stuff going up tomorrow. You know, we're always releasing stuff on our YouTube channel, so subscribe. And yeah, thank you, chat. You've been incredible this morning,
see you guys.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.